Hello and welcome to our West Coast Today podcast with me, Matt Young.
Me, Fiona Scott.
Me, Kathy Griffiths.
And me, Sandy Neal.
Let's crack on with giving you a taste of just some of the headlines we have for you appearing in the Oban Times and Lochaber Times this week, as well as online at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk. Now, I was off last week, but I have one wee update for you before the rest of this wonderful team here at West Coast Today tell you their stories. Bob MacIntyre recorded his best ever finish at last week's Players' Championship, ending up in a solo 4th place. The 29-year-old was within one stroke of the lead coming down the final stretch, but a costly bogey on the par 5 16th left the Scotsman with far too much to do over the final holes at TPC Sawgrass. But Bob fans shouldn't despair too much, as the Oban Stars game is trending in the right direction heading into next month's Masters tournament. We love hearing your stories, so why not drop us an email at editor@obantimes.co.uk or editor@lochabertimes.co.uk, or give us a call on 01631 568 000. Now, Fee, what's been happening up in Lochaber?
Thanks, Matt. NHS Highland has apologised for the time it has taken to find a suitable care package that would enable a Fort William woman to move back to her home after being stuck in a care facility in Nairn for the past 5 months. 30-year-old Iona Grant was moved to the Manor Care Centre on November the 10th last year, and despite being assured her stay would only last a few weeks, she still has no idea when she can return home. Following an inquiry from the Lochaber Times this week, however, the local authority said it was looking at all options to try and resolve the situation. Let's get Iona home as soon as we can. Also this week, there has been an outpouring of love for a former Fort William minister who passed away on Sunday, March the 8th, aged 64, after a short sudden illness. The family of the late Reverend Richard Baxter pay a touching tribute in this week's paper and on our website. And finally, Lochaber and District Motorcycle Club are revving up for the 2026 Ian Pollock Memorial Trial, which is being held on Sunday, March the 29th in and around Kinlochleven. You can read all these stories in full and more in this week's Lochaber Times, or why not jump over to www.westcoasttoday.co.uk, where you will find news and features from all our titles here on the West Coast. Back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Fee. Sounds like a packed Lochaber Times this week. Kathy, what have you got for us?
If you happen to be down Benderloch Way this Saturday at 11ish, keep an eye out for the incredible McLean family and friends who are undertaking a 5k run, walk, or whatever it takes to get from the coffee shop at Ben Laura to the Racer Cafe at Bacaldin. Jill and Ian McLean's rare identical twins, Fraser and Innes, will be there with big brother Cameron to cheer on their amazing mummy and daddy on World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. So give them a big cheer, a hoot, toot that horn. So give them a cheer, toot that horn, and even better, give them a donation, if you can, towards the wonderful work of Down Syndrome Scotland, a charity that offers them and others so much support in our area. I've also been chatting to Aidan Miller, who's inviting people to take a seat and remember his granddad, George Miller, a former security guard at Tesco who passed away. George's favourite spot to sit and watch the world go by was a bench outside the supermarket, where Aidan has now placed a plaque. Such a lovely gesture, Aidan. Your granddad would be so proud of your thoughtfulness. And if you're here for the beer, Oban has a Love of Beer festival on at the Rockfield this Saturday, bound to pull in a crowd as well as pints from 8 brewers, some who are travelling with their kegs from far-flung islands. And a new search and rescue helicopter base has just launched at Oban Airport. Gosh, it's all taking off. Over to you, Matt.
Thank you, Kathy. That all sounds absolutely amazing. Now, Sandy has a few of Owen's stories for us. Sandy, what has Owen been working on?
Thank you very much, Matt. Well, there's a stink hanging around Mossfield. Last week, an Oban Saints 2014's game was forced to relocate due to the sheer amount of dog poo on the pitch. Sorry for anyone having their lunch while listening to this. New larger signs discouraging dog fouling have proven to be ineffective, so sporting officials are now calling on pet owners to be a bit more responsible. And in other polluting news, a fuel leak sprung up last week from the wreckage of the head corn, which began to spread around Oban Bay. Oil booms are now in place to contain the leak, while a salvage operation is planned. And finally from me, all of Mull's wartime heroes are finally about to get the recognition they deserve. Work has begun on the new Kilmore War Memorial, which will honour the 23 men from the Derveg area who died in the First and Second World Wars. The project is being spearheaded by the great-nephews of one of the fallen soldiers, who hope to see it completed by Armistice Day.
Thank you, Sandy. Remember, you can read all the stories from our West Coast Today papers and lots more online by going to www.westcoasttoday.co.uk or picking up printed copies in local shops. This podcast is now available on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you usually get your podcasts from. Just search for the West Coast Today podcast in the service of your choice. Now that's it from us, so thank you very much for listening, and it's bye from me, Matt Young.
Bye from me, Fiona Scott.
Bye from me, Kathy Griffiths.
And bye from me, Sandy Neal.
Bye.
Bye.